What's up, guys? Back in the music here today. We got Smallville Season 1, Episode 2, Metamorphosis. Okay, so last episode was really good. I enjoyed it. It was really good. I'm really excited to review this episode. The premiere was awesome. So, yeah, let's start talking about Episode 2. Okay, so Episode 2 begins with it switches over from Clark's house to a, another guy's house who has the hots for Lana, and his mom finds out, and his name is Greg, and yeah, so and his mom says that how can she even look at Lana's aunt, knowing that her son has a crush is stalking Lana. So yeah, so she says that she's gonna call them Cherry Academy. He thinks she's joking, but nope, she really means it this time. And he's like, "What about my bugs?" So yeah, this guy's really creepy. So yeah. So while he's driving, for some reason he decides to bring his bugs with him. So yeah, and one of the container lands, letting all the bugs out, and they attack him. And yeah, and I guess they're mirror enhanced bugs because now he's so yeah. So we see him, and his mom comes in, and she's looking for him, and he's on top of the ceiling, and it's very creepy. So we get into the theme song, which is very awesome, and then we get to this like carnival where Clark is there, and he's hanging out with Lana, and actually he's there, and yeah, and then Whitney's like, hey, it was just like a prank, and now you can get back the necklace. But he's like, I don't know where the necklace is. And he's like, come on, it's Lana's favorite. He's like, and Clark snaps back at him, saying, then you go out in that cornfield and get it yourself. So yeah, and then we see Greg, and so then we see Greg, and he's looking at Lana, and he's telling her about all these bugs, and then Winnie comes over, and he tells Greg, he's like he's like he's like he's like, hey, this is not a competition, and if you keep saying butterfly to my girlfriend's room, stop saying butterfly into my girlfriend's room. So what does Greg do? He uses his new mirror enhanced superpowers to attack Whitney. But good, Clark's there and saves Whitney, and Jonathan's like, yeah, all Whitney remembers is his car's not working, and waking up in an ambulance. So yeah. And Lex was also there, and he, for some reason, looks at Lana. Yeah. So yeah. So then Greg's mom discovers what Greg's doing, and he's like, I can't stop what I'm doing, and he's like, first of all, he says that first he'll eat, then he'll make, and then he's like, you know what, you know what this bug does, and he's like, the bug kills his mom, so he does that, he kills his mom. So yeah. So yeah. So Clark is like, so Lana talks to Lex, and Lex is like, oh yeah, you're where do you think your boyfriend was last? And she was like, he was like, he was with me, but he's like, you should ask your boyfriend. So that's what Lana does. She asks Whitney, and Whitney's like, yeah, I was warming up. And he's like, I kind of lost your necklace. And she was like, were you ever gonna tell me that? So he's like, so she's So she goes to ask Clark, but Greg's like, "Hey, you're blowing me off," and she's blowing me off to hang out with your boyfriend, and she's like, "No, I'm not. I just gotta go see Clark." He's like, "That guy's born." So she goes. So she goes to see Clark. It's kind of revealed that whole scene at the end of episode 1 was kind of a dream because she asked Clark and she didn't see him at the dance or whatever. So yeah, and Clark makes an excuse about how he was doing other stuff. So but back to Lana's like, "Hey, Whitney told me about what she did, about about the whole scarecrow thing," and yeah. So Clark, he still has the kryptonite. He still has the necklace, the kryptonite necklace, and Lana reveals is that's from the meteor shower that her aunt Nell made for her when she adopted Lana, and yeah. So, but I really like that fact that the kryptonite does to Clark's hand in this episode. So yeah. So yeah, he talks to Chloe about Greg attacks him, and then he attacks Jonathan, and he's like, I think Greg got superpowers, and she's like, and Martha's like, oh, weren't Clark and Greg friends with Pete? Weren't you and Pete friends with Greg? And he's like, yeah. And so she goes to talk to Chloe, and Chloe's like, Clark, I think you're beginning to outgrow me. And he's like, Chloe, I can never outgrow you. So yeah. And then she's like, what about Greg? So they talk about Greg, and he's like, Bug Bites Boy, aka Greg is now called Bug Boy. So yeah, so yeah, and so 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 they go to Greg's house, and they discover that he killed his mom, as I said, and and so yeah, and they like go. Oh wait, yeah. When he's hanging out with Lana, and he goes to apologize to Lana, when Greg's like, "No, she's mine," and he's like, and Greg flips him up, knocks him out, and kidnaps Lana. And when Clark goes to him, he's like, "Hey, Greg kidnapped Lana," saying something about how he will be, she'll be his, and 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 Clark said, I know where I know where he would kidnap Lana." He's like, "Where?" The old place that Clark and Pete hanged out when they were kids. And when he's about to apologize to Clark, but when he turns, Clark's gone. So when Clark finds, and Whitney drives off, and Clark goes, and he fights Greg, and he's like, and Greg's like, "Hey Clark, you always afraid of this place when we were kids," and yeah, and then he talks to him about another bug when he knocks Clark, and Greg is hit by a thing, and he just scatters into bugs. So obviously he's coming back because they didn't kill him, and then he's coming back. So at some point, so yeah, and then Whitney saves Lana, and then Clark gives Lana back the necklace that and I think she thinks that Whitney did because she says Whitney before Clark leaves, and that's where it ends. Okay, so this episode was really good. Greg was really creepy. He was a really creepy character. I think he was more creepy than Jeremy Creek in the last episode. He was very creepy. And yeah. And yeah. And yeah, so Lex told Clark that he jokingly tells Clark that he should kill Whitney. So, jokingly, of course, because he said it was a joke. And yeah. So, yeah. And so Greg just turning into, like, my mini bugs and just going. I don't know what that means. I say he may come back. He probably will at some point. Probably later on. I don't know. Yeah, so, because he just they didn't kill him off. He turned into a billion bugs and just vanished. So, yeah. Also, yeah, I really thought Clark watching Lana, no, Greg watching Lana, that was super creepy. I think Clark did the right thing in the end by giving Lana back the necklace, but Greg was super duper creepy as, he was super creepy. So yeah, and Martha and Johnson, they were in this episode, so yeah, I hope you put a like, comment on the video. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next Smallville.